Are we there yet? 2005 movie review. Quite close to being a 2 out of 10. The story was bad. A guy who hates kids falls in love with a woman with 2 children. The movie was about a guy doing the woman a favor by driving the kids across the country. The movie felt very empty. It was not funny. There were no comedic scenes. The movie wasn't all that entertaining. Visually, it looked good. I liked that it was quite bright and colorful. I hated the outfits Ice and the kids wore. They were modern and cheap looking. I especially hated the blue jacket the boy wore, the girl's pink jacket, and the sneakers Ice had on. Also, there were people in the background with ugly and cheap looking outfits. The cast was good. Ice Cube and Nia Long looked good, but I didn't like how the Nia's boy looked. The music was bad. However, there was a good song at the beginning, Ride With Me, by Nelly. There was a bad cover of a decent song, Respect, by The Girl, which didn't sound good. There was a bad song that played in a car driving montage after the girl messed around with the radio. The camera work was good. There were a lot of good-looking camera shots. The movie felt high budget. There were high-budget scenes of cars getting wrecked, crashing into each other. One car even exploded. The set decoration wasn't noticeable. The movie wasn't sexual, so it can be enjoyed with the family. However, there was mild sexual dialogue when the boy called Ice a horny sex man twice. The movie mostly took place inside the car, and I didn't like how that set looked. I really liked the scene where Ice imagined the kids tied to the hood of his car, followed by a decent transition back to reality. I liked when Ice was riding a horse while talking to the kids who were on the train. That scene looked hard to execute. I didn't like the scene where the security guards jumped on top of Ice at the airport because it seemed unrealistic. There was an unfunny scene, which I didn't like, where Ice Cube gave the Asian car mechanic a shiny Yao Ming card, and the mechanic made an unfunny noise. I didn't like the scene where the deer was fighting Ice by standing on 2 feet because it felt unrealistic, and the CGI on the deer's face wasn't good. I liked the car's spinning rims, those looked awesome. I liked that in the title of the movie, instead of a dot in the question mark, there was a spinning car rim. I loved one scene when a police officer was about to write Nia a ticket for parking in a restricted area, but then, after overhearing her argument with her ex on the phone, the officer said, "Forget it, she's got enough problems." I love when people in movies are nice to each other without expecting anything in return. There was an unrealistic scene at the beginning where the boy used the basic RC car controller to control a huge figurine of Santa Claus swinging from the roof. I liked one scene where Ice was holding the boy over the sink so he could pee in it at the women's bathroom, and when a woman came out of a stall and saw them, she got angry. But then Ice turned the boy towards her and he ended up peeing on her. The scene where the boy threw up in the car looked very unrealistic. There was way too much vomit, and it came out with an unrealistic amount of pressure. The scenes where the kids were crying looked awkward. There was no moral of the story. The ending was bad. Ice said goodbye to the kids, and Nia told him she wanted to be so much more then friends with ice. Then they kissed as the shot moved back and out of the window, which looked good. But as it kept pulling back, you could tell they were in a CGI house, which I didn't like. I wish it wouldn't have been CGI. I would have given this movie a 2 out of 10 if there were just a couple comedic scenes. So, I'll give this movie a 1 out of 10. What to take away from this movie is how sweet the police officer was for doing a favor without expecting anything in return.